Hey, welcome back, Di.
Yay.
Hey, I only saw you at the back fence the other day, and this one, entertaining again. Gee, that was fun.
God, I mean, I actually, I think, as I say all the time, coming from a huge family now, there's always two legs. There was always 2 legs or 3 legs of lamb on the table. So for me to shove a bit more in an oven and throw it out at the dining room table, it's not a big deal. But being at the back fence, Nicola just rocks up, and we had some of the guys from production from over the back fence, and oh my God, we rocked on. Didn't we
certainly did. Well, we're celebrating because it's the year of the horse.
What do you say?
Giddy up, giddy up, and we're ready to ride this year high.
We are.
The energy is really
Powerful.
strong, and it's funny how it's affected people's sleep too. Like the
Yeah.
night before, I slept like a baby. Last night I was awake sort of like at 3 a.m. and I think
Me
everyone
too.
here were too.
And 2 girls at Pilates this morning were the same. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, but so
Lunar, New
much
Year.
is going on, and like it's been fun. We've been at different events, and then we went to the hotter and healthy event. And who did we?
I love
hear
your
there?
emphasis on hotter
Hotter
and
and
healthier.
healthy.
What a great
Too hot
event!
right now at Manly. It was so
It
good.
was brilliant. It was brilliant, and a great lead into our next guest actually, because she was one of the guest speakers, and we decided that you no doubt in my mind or Nicola's mind that we needed her in your ears. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're absolutely thrilled to have Tess Brouwer at our back fence.
Hello.
And so what we were saying with the event, because you actually opened it up with Layne Beachley, who we've had on. She's a back fencer as well.
Yeah.
And you actually did it with some breath work.
Yeah, we
and
did.
And then you told your story, and
Very
it was
powerful.
Just so much. So we did. We just want to share that with our listeners because it was so beautiful, and we love everything is sort of about what you stand so much with.
Let's introduce Tess.
Can I say though,
Yes,
ladies, I
yes.
have to touch on this, and it's a credit to both of you. Is I see Layne and I in you both. So Layne is my back fence. Even though
I've never heard that line.
No.
Yeah, so Layne, we don't share a back fence, but we share the premise of that is connection, friendship first. We're in business together, and no one ever talks about how hard that is.
Yes.
You always have to have guardrails around friendship first, but you can see and the energy that you have together is it's beautiful, and it's very anchoring to be in the presence of you both. And when Layne and I did this hotter and healthier event, the intention was, can you open women up early? Because apparently at the last event, it was at the end of the day that people started feeling more comfortable and could get fluid and start talking and sort of sharing their struggles. And they said, can we get people to talk early, open them up and get them vulnerable? And Alex Isaacs was like, I need you guys to set the tone.
Shout out to Alex Isaacs too.
Yeah.
She's speaking of powerful.
Well, grounded.
Well, you know what, Tess, that is so good. Well, you certainly succeeded. You had everyone
brilliant.
there.
Well, I
It's
saw you
500 women,
both at the
guys.
front of row just glowing and crying and
there
hugging
was
and
tissues.
sharing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, look,
Nicola
let
and
me
I
just
were-
say a little
let's,
bit more.
Let's unpack this
Just
beautiful
if you
woman
don't know
in front of
Tess,
us.
you certainly will know more now. But she's also she's the CEO and co-founder of the Awake Academy alongside Layne, as we were sort of saying that too. A practitioner of positive psychology, which we love. It's our jam. It's what we're so into. Mental wellness mentor, and someone who knows the corporate life inside and out. She's rebuilt her life from a serious spinal injury, survived burnout several times, and helps people to reset, recharge and thrive at work and in life. She's a mum, she's an author, she's a podcaster, creator of Wake Up. We can't wait to hear more from you. Welcome to the back.
Welcome, Tess.
Thank you. Where's the spread?
I've got a leg of lamb in the oven. It's coming out.
I know.
It's come on. But Colin, my brother, would have eaten it by now, wouldn't he?
Exactly, that's true. And we've actually just popped a couple of those Wake Up.
We have.
Yeah.
Look,
They're
there's so
great.
many
Come
ways
out here.
to step into Tess, but I have to honestly say, as a fellow, I'm a mad skier. Before we unpack your accident in 2018, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Your skiing accident in Geneva. Let's start with your corporate journey, which is remarkable. You work with some of the most amazing global giants, but particularly Virgin. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, when you come on podcasts, you want people to see your soul and know your journey. So there's so many places where I can start, but I just want to talk to the woman in the room or the man, whoever's listening right now, who had a dream and worked really hard to get there, and that was me. Like, all I've ever done is set myself a target and work for it. And I've never had a normal life by any means. And some people may call me, you know, different or weird, and sometimes I've shied away from that. But that energy has always brought me into incredible rooms. And I credit my family for that. My parents are both hot air balloon pilots. And they used to
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they used to fly Richard Branson's hot air balloon. They flew it around Australia, and they actually launched Virgin Records when they came to Australia by flying the Virgin hot air balloon underneath the Harbour Bridge. And his brief to them was, I don't care what you do, just make a name for Virgin. I want them front page, like classic Richard Branson.
Of course.
Classic.
And what a thread for you.
What a thread. And I've always grown up with these photos of my parents flying this incredible, like, plain Virgin, like, hot air balloon, basically. And I thought, that's a business I want to work for and with. Yeah. So I've always had that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, perfect.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school. I was sort of a bit lost, to be honest, but I knew I didn't want to be at home, and I knew I was ready to spread my wings, so I went overseas. And naturally, being from the Northern Beaches on Sydney, everybody works on the super yachts there. And it was like below deck, by the way. But it was exactly like that, probably worse. And I worked on the super yachts for 3 years and just got to see a wild side of life.
It's a fun gig for young girls, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think that's the truth of where I found myself now, is I was living someone else's life. And my boss was bad boy billionaire Vijay Mallya, who's got a Netflix show on his life. And he was like the Richard Branson of India in so many ways. Owned an airline, super yachts, you know, did all of the press, like, junkets and all of those incredible lavish things to get media attention. And then I just had this epiphany one day, and I thought, this is not my life. I have to go and build my own. So I went back to Australia, got a diploma in marketing and events, and started working through my way through different advertising agencies and marketing agencies, and I always had my eyes set on Virgin. And then, I saw the job. 1,000 people went for that role, and I got it.
You had to get it.
Don't forget what she just said, guys. I always had my eyes set on it.
That's true, Jane.
How imperative that is, guys. Just reflect on that for a second. If there's something at the moment you're not sure about or you're negative about, have a beeline like Tess did. Just believe.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but we make it so complex. You know, so continue from
intention
there.
too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I knew I wasn't ready for it.
She never let go of the dream.
No.
No, I was never ready for it either.
Yeah,
I needed the qualifications. I needed
this. This is my music.
Yeah. Well, we all sing, right? Or we all play a different instrument.
She loves to sing.
Don't start
Let's get her started.
Don't start me.
Yeah. And
she haven't had a tune this year, Jane.
I know.
I think we have to think of something.
I will.
Up and away.
You know me.
Yeah.
Up and away is a great one. I'll sing the Virgin Chico.
Yeah, please do.
Sure,
I actually almost got sued by Frank Sinatra for "Come Fly With Me" because we used it once.
Oh, I love that song because I was a host for 30 years.
So sorry, we totally derailed. So
we're derailed.
dream,
So I got the
Virgin.
job, and
Of course you did.
A flip side of this is the expectation you put on yourself.
Yes.
You've reached your dream, and now you've got to deliver that dream. And as we all know, expectations can ruin us.
Thief of joy.
The thief of joy. Yeah, comparison and expectations need to go. But I was young and impressionable, but I had the best job in the world. I was negotiating multi-million-dollar sponsorship deals with like the AFL and Virgin Australia Melbourne Fashion Festival. I'd be in coaches' boxes on weekends, front row fashion festivals in the night, and everything in between.
So it was like the cool gig.
It was the cool gig,
really, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had the title, you didn't have the pay, you had the experiences, but you didn't have the life. Your life was job. And that was it. And I became Tess from Virgin, and I built a whole identity around that person because it was safe. I was well respected. But I really didn't have a sense of who I was, how I showed up in the world. And
was it imposter syndrome? Would you put it down to that, or is that a larger or more exaggerated version?
No, I never had imposter syndrome. Right. It was a lack of self-identity, a lack of self-love, and a lack of
Because
self-respect.
I've had that myself in my life.
But is it like an internal, like you've got the...
Got to
you know,
prove
so a lot
myself.
of people say, I'm the mum, and that's their identity. Or
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
the
it's
nurse,
true.
or I'm the flight
Put the hat
attendant,
on.
Yeah.
or I'm the CEO, or whatever it is. But, you know, we're all more than that because we're human beings and we
That's
enter this
right.
planet and we leave, you know, like that.
Yeah.
And there's different things that we experience. But was it, so you're saying the self-worth, so was it that internal thing?
It was absolutely internal, and it was needed. I mean, I've through a lot of therapy. When my parents divorced when I was 2.5, and my family identity split, and there's a common theme in that. Whilst it wasn't traumatic, what kids of that nature experience is they look external for validation or constructs. So Hollywood movies, you know, you can find yourself looking for things to latch onto that give you a sense of belonging because you don't have that at home. It's fractured. So, and that was really interesting for me to unpack because everything became about everyone and always being the girl that could deliver, always
so
being
word
at
surfacing,
everything.
you were unbalanced because everything was over there.
Yeah, everything was
Where
outside of
there
me.
was Tess.
And from
going,
the outside, it looks like you're the dream girl.
dream.
Because
Dream
you know,
job.
you've succeeded,
Yes.
you did, you believed, you had the intention, you got the great gig, and
Yeah.
you're probably enjoying it
Yeah.
until
life has this wonderful way of stopping you dead in your tracks. And I know this, and I've felt it in myself and I see it in other people's lives, is you're thrown certain stones. And sometimes they hurt, sometimes the wounds are a bit deeper and you don't listen to them and you mask it with alcohol, partying, like buying clothes. Like I was always so busy being busy that I didn't have time to stop.
Great line. So busy being
and how many
busy.
people are like that?
The carry-on culture.
Oh, that almost made me emotional because I've been there. So busy being busy and just proving it to myself
Yeah.
and to anyone else around me.
Yeah.
But as internally, sometimes you're just crumbling
Those
inside.
words, how are you busy? It's no longer cool.
Yeah, and as
Well,
you
I
said, more
really don't-
champagne,
yeah.
more this,
Yeah.
more food, whatever it may be.
Total, and you can
Stop
become
and
obsessive
breathe.
about it, like, and obsessive about always having something in the diary. Like, I never thought that you could go out and have fun without having alcohol, ever. It was just not even.
So she's starting out in super yachts and you're young. I mean,
All
you know,
of
we
it,
brought up as
true.
every party, it was always, you know,
Always.
Yeah,
the
but that's
standard,
like
normal.
you know.
all of those things that I had built this framework and identity around, like, were absolutely things I needed to look at and go within. And I call this journey my journey home.
That's 3 times
So when
you've
did
almost made me cry.
when did it
can
hit
cry.
you then?
You're doing well.
Tess? So
Yeah.
you know you had the dream job and then you realised then
Yes.
Many jobs. It was Coca-Cola too, wasn't it? Like
I've had some
global
good,
companies.
good jobs. And
Yeah.
a lot of this is like you're working for something, for someone else, for a shareholder at the end of the day. Like you begin to the veil starts to drop and you start to look around and think, hang on, what is this life that I'm creating? And you're standing, I call the intuition thing a bit like standing on a nail. You know when you're not comfortable. You know when what you're doing is wrong, but you're kind of trying to even yourself out so it doesn't hurt. And when I got a job a different job overseas, and I had a skiing accident. And
In Geneva.
Yeah, and what most people would do when they fly headfirst into a wall, blackout, feel pins and needles running down their legs, even wet their pants, cracking headache, and wanting
Okay,
to go
so
to sleep.
this is post the skiing accident
yeah.
symptoms.
Yeah,
right. So most people would go,
Most people,
oh
I
my
need
God, that's
help.
bad.
So
did
but
you still have
kept
the
going.
corporate job
Yeah.
and you took
Yeah.
yourself on a ski holiday, which
No,
is
She
it
was
was-
in Geneva.
yeah.
working.
yes. Oh, working there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I can tell that bit just
Yeah.
for editing purposes. I'll just give you the swing so it's an easy cut.
Yeah.
So I was overseas for a new job, and it was my first week on the job, and we had a welcome to the front. Well, welcome to the. We had a welcome to the job ski day. It was like a corporate day, and I went down a black run because that's where we got taken. And a skier went past me, and I went into the side of the wall, and I lost my skis, and I hit my head, and I just remember going. Blacked out really quickly, came out, started laughing, pins and needles up and down my legs, wet my pants, cracking headache, and all I wanted to do was just get off that mountain, and survival instincts kicked in. Now, when you're me and that
Yes.
background of my identity was wrapped up in my job, I had sold up my whole life to move overseas. All of my family were like, "You're crazy," but again, of course, Tess, go and live your life. everyone else was getting married, engaged, pregnant, second baby. So everything was wrapped up into this. I couldn't be a failure. I couldn't have that shame. And I knew that there was a part of me, and I still feel it now, like, you fucked your life. Like, that something's wrong. And that nail got sharper. But I ignored it because my whole life, all I've done is carry on. And that's been my survival mechanism. And I've gone through some really tough moments in my life, death of loved ones, just a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, which we write about which I've written about in the book. But to see your life in that moment and to know that you've got to carry on, it's
There's
incredible
the irony.
what
You've
people
gone
can
through
do.
a lot of pain and trauma,
And
there you were in massive pain and trauma on the slope. But no, I've got to. I have to get up and carry on.
But
how's the irony in that?
I know.
Bingo. Well, guess what? The universe slam you down.
Well, us
Here's the
people
lesson.
pleasers would rather see everyone else happy rather than myself.
Incredible.
So after that, I just carried on, and I just remembered life falling apart in front of me, just wanting to pass out, not feeling my hands, pins and needles, wetting my pants at work, going and getting new pairs of pants to wear so that I just could change in the bathroom. And I wasn't telling anyone. I was just falling apart.
So you actually hadn't sought medical help?
No.
Because she's fine. Tess is fine.
I am fine.
Yeah.
I am
F-I-N-E.
fine.
Whereas
Yeah.
I think, it's,
I know.
poor
And
darling.
it's actually the most remarkable story.
Well, I thought, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, how did you, like, a lot of my journey is self-forgiveness. Why didn't you feel worthy enough of care? Why, like, I am the most caring, loving soul. I take care of people as like so much. Why didn't I have that care of self? Why didn't I deserve that? And so even when I went to the doctor, I said, I hit my head. I know it's that. Like, you need to help me. I can't feel my hands. And he sent me home with an anxiety tablet.
That was in
broken
Switzerland.
English. Broken
Switzerland?
English, yeah. And I went back in because I was like losing speech and things were shutting down. What I didn't know, I was in spinal shock. And I went back into hospital. They admitted me for a week, and I had been Googling symptoms of MS. That's what spat out. Loss of feeling in legs, pins and needles in hands.
Yes.
And I thought, I can deal with MS. I can deal with anything.
I'm Tess, should I say?
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
do
I
it.
can.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I'll
Yeah.
just deal with that when I get
Yeah.
back to Australia. And then they did one more scan after a week of being spinal tapped, poked, prodded, electrocuted, all of these incredible things that the medical world does to save your life. And the radiologist said to me in broken English, "Did you hit your head?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You have a spinal cord injury." And then bang, the world just kind of flipped on its head. And this is the bit that probably makes me the most sad about is I didn't call my parents for the whole week that I was in hospital getting tested because I didn't want to let them
Worry
down.
them?
I didn't want to worry them, and I didn't want to give them that shame. I wanted to know.
A failure in their eyes.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
I didn't want to give them
The
the wrong
thought
answer.
process.
Yeah, so I was an hour away from getting a blood transfusion for what they thought was Guillain-Barré disease, but it turned out to be a spinal cord injury.
So how long were you repatriated? Were you
Well,
repatriated to Australia? Or
yeah,
how
so
long
I
were you in
had surgery
Switzerland?
there. Then they said I could
Ah.
go home to Australia and recover. It was meant to be 6 to 8 weeks. I still wasn't well. I was swelling. My body just kept on swelling, and I was an outpatient at Royal North Shore, and I went in for one appointment, and the lady just said, "I need you to sit down," and she went and got my spinal surgeon, and he said, "This isn't good. Go home, get some rest, and we'll come back on Monday." And I went home and I just collapsed, and then they rushed me straight back to hospital, and my surgeon said to me, we won't operate. We've been operating all day. It's nighttime. There's one surgery open. We're not going to operate if this isn't an emergency situation. It's just too risky for me and my team. And I was like, okay. He's like, do you accept that? And I was like, of course. Like, you're about to save my life. Like, I can feel my neck at this point shutting down. And it's the weirdest feeling when you start losing feeling in your body and your legs. and your hands and nothing. It's like you can't
You're
function.
a young girl in your 30s.
Yeah, exactly. And I went in for an MRI and I came out and they said, you're going in now. So that was huge, like, because you think, like, it was, like a snowball, it just gets bigger and bigger and worse and worse. And then, as fate or luck would have it, not for me, but someone else had a heart attack, and so they had to take me out of surgery prep and bring someone else in. So they didn't operate for another 2 days. So I just had to lie there staring at a roof, waiting for surgery. Yeah, and the irony as corporate girl, it was over Melbourne Cup. And I know, like, for all the corporate people,
saying,
Melbourne
"Giddy up,"
Cup, Year of the Horse, it has
Did you have a
always
fascinator in
had
the hospital bed?
such a different meaning to me now. It's like, how did I go from, like, partying in the city at amazing corporate events to, like, lying here, and I've got a photo.
Change, like, in a flash.
I'll
It's
share
so
it with
true,
you. The
Nicola.
nurse is there with, like, making hats out of the surgical
How
masks.
surreal.
How
How surreal
surreal.
this would have all been for you.
Yeah.
And as we know, every day people are right now, we could even be listening to this podcast, in a hospital bed
Yep.
now,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
things can change.
Yeah.
And so how many surgeries? Like moving
2
on
major
from,
spinal cord surgeries. I didn't
which is
realize, which is
enormous.
huge. Like, you're not meant to have that, one front, one back. And, like, I know people who were in the hospital with me who'd had the surgery and never walked again. Like, I remember waking up out of it, seeing my family and the doctors around me and closing my eyes, just thinking, I can't be in here. Like, this is not my world, but them forcing me to stand up. And I was vomiting, shaking, but I realised at that point they were seeing whether I could walk again.
So let's
Pretty
move on
wild,
to
isn't it?
rehab. I found
Yeah.
in when Nicola and I were absolutely engrossed in your talk that we were at recently, your experience in rehab, because personally I've never experienced rehab.
Neither until then.
So I've thought about it a lot though,
Yeah.
with different people in there. But tell just quickly about that how that affected you and how many could never walk again.
Yeah.
And you were in that.
Yeah, I
same-
was in that pool.
Yeah.
So I spent...
Pretty powerful.
Yeah, I woke up in the spinal ward, which is a pretty frightening place for anyone to be in. It's very emotional. There's a lot of families going through completely life-changing experiences, but so much energy of like, you learn how to communicate with your eyes because you can't communicate elsewhere, or some people couldn't talk, and it's a very, very high risk, high care situation. Yes. And then they said, then you're moved on out of there. Their job is to get you out of high risk and put you in, and you go to Royal Ride Rehab, which is like which is the rehab centre. Now I thought, I'm going to go home.
Yeah,
and they said,
great, I'll go there
I'm
for a week.
walking, I can move,
Yeah.
I'm good. And they said, no, you're going to rehab. And we don't give those beds to people we don't feel that need it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like high care.
Yeah.
And it was a privilege, to be honest. And I thought I'd be there for 2 or 3 weeks, and I was there for 3 months. And it's sort of, I feel like everyone deserves to go to life rehab in their life. A beautiful friend of mine calls it, like, you learn how the wheels work, you learn how your engine operates. But unfortunately for that level of care, it's all about physical movement. So it's all about getting your body moving again, and so that you can go home. There wasn't a lot of psychology in there. So I developed complex PTSD, survivor's guilt. I was the only walker in 25 rooms. I was surrounded by 2 of my best friends,
Was it
Alex and Harrison.
Yeah.
And like, even just to hold the room and the space for them in the dark hours when everyone went home, it was scary. A fire alarm went off once, and I was in a complete psychosis because I thought, what would I do? I'm here alone. So it was just like, life just kept on giving me more and more, that I was trying to numb myself out by helping again. So I just turned into helping Tess. And then, the 3 months came, and I thought, I remember calling a meeting with them saying, like, I can't be here. I'm the only walker. I don't deserve this again. I don't need to be here. And the surgeon sat me down, and the head of the rehab centre, and said, we don't put people in here that we don't think need to be. Yeah. If you don't start accepting this, you will forever be injured. You will forever be stuck.
Well, you certainly got the care, didn't you? Which was, which is sometimes those things you don't want to hear, but you kind of got it. And so moving forward, how did it go then? Tell us the thing with Layne.
Yeah, so,
And we're talking about Layne Beachley, guys,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
world
yeah.
champion
Yeah.
surfer.
And tune back to listen to her,
Yes,
from
when was
last
Layne?
We should
season.
link
She was
it.
great.
Was it last season?
Last season.
Oh
And I
my
actually re-listened to it
gosh.
again before you came in
did
here,
you?
Tess,
Yeah.
and I got to say, I loved it.
I listened to it last night. Isn't that
wow.
bizarre?
Fantastic.
And I loved every single second of
And
it.
she is just an incredible soul. She's put on this earth
I can
to
see what you see. But what
help
happened
people.
with Layne?
And
Okay,
she's
so-
had a journey and a half
When you work in
too.
corporate world, you get these things called CEO specials. And I was the head of brand and sponsorship at Virgin. So you can imagine the deals that go on and that you have to execute, or you're just told, you're doing this, can you go make it happen? And I was in the middle of Fashion Week and AFL. Two big naming rights for big partnerships, lots of pressure, a small team. And I get a call saying, Layne Beachley is in the boardroom. Can you go and meet her? We've signed a deal with her. And I was like,
And you'd never known her before.
never
nothing.
met her. I mean, I'm a Northern Beach
I was
girl.
going
I
to
don't
say,
surf.
like us,
Exactly.
but yeah.
Like I have
No.
and I've met a lot of famous people, and
course.
like it would just like I see them
Lane's
eye
in the
to
boardroom.
eye.
I love it.
Yeah, so I go up there
Surfboard
thinking,
room.
I don't have time. You know, the head chatter, head noise, and
Yeah.
I walked in there and came out a new person with a best friend. And what
Was it only the two of you?
I think there was someone else in the room. It became,
But it wasn't
just
like a big
became-
conference or anything.
No,
it was more
no.
intimate.
Yeah, it was more intimate, and it was like talking about her charity and what she was doing. And it was, her charity was because when she was trying to get her world titles, she was working several jobs, couldn't get sponsorship, not making ends meet. And one of the boss of the boat shed in Manly gave her a check for $5,000 and said, I see what you're doing, I see where you're going. Stop working, focus on your sport and go get that world title. And it makes me emotional thinking about
I
it
love
because
that. Yeah.
like we all want someone to reach out their
Absolutely.
hand. And
Yes.
she created a charity on it, which I helped her with. And there's this classic
Name the charity because it's a beautiful
Aim for
one.
the Stars.
Aim for the
Yeah,
Stars.
she's thousands
My
of
favourite
women.
I know,
line.
don't you love
Thousands of women she's helped get like degrees in chemistry or like just women living their dreams. And Layne was that $5,000
You know
grant.
the beautiful thing about having Tess, and for all of you beautiful humans listening now, the message and the story here are two people. Yes, Layne achieved incredible things, but my God, against all odds, Tess, you've heard the story, against all odds, they meet, and what do?
Yeah.
They write a book together, the Awake Academy.
Yeah.
Did you study like you're an
tell her- but I
expert
want-
in
Okay, yeah,
positive
agree.
psychology.
I know. So this is
That's Nicola, walking Nicola.
Yeah.
What a
how does it
dream.
That's my
happen?
language.
I
But
know.
tell
It's
what she
like-
said to you at
Yeah.
KK.
Well,
Yes.
so two pivotal moments
I love
happened.
this.
So I went to her charity, didn't have time for it, fitted it in between. It was like my 8th event that week. Walked in and there's a gala night with 1,000 people in the room and there's people telling their stories. And one woman popped up. I wrote about her in the book. And she was telling this story about how she was in a cult and her family would try and capture her. She tried and get away, even to the point where they pour acid on her face. And so she went to America. She studied law, became a lawyer, went to America, studied the Constitution there to get a something written into our law to stop family cults capturing their children. And she did it.
Oh.
And I sat there weeping and I said to Layne, I don't have a story. And she said to me, well, you better go get one.
Layne's great
She's
with
so
those.
practical
She's
too, isn't
great
she?
with
I
her
mean,
one
I took the
powerful
advice.
line.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
fast
Love
forward,
that,
so we
love
had
it.
this incredible relationship.
No wishy-washy stuff.
No wishy-washy.
Yeah, love it.
And when I rang her from the spinal ward, and her and Kurt came out because they were like family at this point, and they came in, and she, God love her, bought a Kiki K book that said My Dream Life. And I thought, this chick, can I swear?
Yes.
She's out of her fucking mind. Like, does she have any idea where she is?
Yes.
I'm in a spinal ward. I'm in a neck
Like,
brace.
you're
I'm staring
kidding
at a
me.
white
Love
roof.
this.
Like,
Yeah.
I am. I've lost my job, my identity,
Can
my
you
car,
say it
my
again, what she
home.
gave you? It said?
My dream life.
Don't you love it? Go
I love
Layne.
her.
Go Layne.
Don't care about the surroundings.
Yes,
There you
yeah.
go. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. And I wrote one thing in there,
Yes.
right at the start of business, but I couldn't use my hands properly at that point. And I went when I got left hospital, I was very broken. I was under psychiatric care of my family. I was on the floor of my parents' home, just crying
Rock
every
bottom
day,
moment.
like what has happened to
Yeah.
me? how did I let this get so bad? Like why didn't, all of the questions
And
came
then what
up.
happened from there?
I went round to Layne's house to have dinner with Holly Ransom. If you're not familiar with Holly, she has interviewed everyone from Barack Obama to Hillary Clinton to she runs the World Economic Forum sections in that, like, hero. So I'm in Layne and Kirk's kitchen. Kirk, in excess, like, superheroes walking around. And I was pretty used to it, but it was very like, wow, my life is not where I needed to be. And Layne's, I gave them my discharge summary and I said, like, this is what I'm dealing with. And Holly gave me a hug and Layne said, well, that's bullshit.
I love it too.
If you subscribe to everything in that letter, your life will be fucked and you won't live your dream.
See, guys, stop the mamby. Just get straight to it. Come on, up and let's move on.
Like, very few people earn the right to have that conversation with you. It's not like you can start throwing that out, even though I see her doing
with
that.
empathy. But sometimes, that's awful. If you go down that mode with a lot of people, they're justified to feel more like that.
Yes.
But she's lived it and really had the right to say it as well.
Yeah,
you
don't want a pity party. At the same time, like, I respected the fact that she was like, well, what are you going to do about it? Like,
so how did it merge to you two setting
so
up?
she said to me, again, this is the aim for the stars moment, is I have got a conference next week. Like, Layne gets paid to speak at a lot of gigs, but she never held her own one. And she said, I've got my own one. I haven't put it online to sell yet. I want you to work with me on it and help me put it together.
She held your hand.
And I said, I can't work. I don't have, like, I can't. And I could hear myself.
Yes.
And this is the thing I want to drive home to you and to your listeners. Where are you saying I can't? Like, where do you put these limitations around your head? And then I was like, well, I just have to say yes and let it work out. So I said yes, we did the show, we sold out, we changed lives, and Awake Academy was essentially born.
Bravo!
Yeah.
Against all odds.
Wow.
And what do? Change other people's lives.
Not only that,
Full
with
circle.
the book too, which is really like a toolkit, and I highly recommend it. I've actually given it away to people as well. If you have a look at this too, it's got dog ear, it's got
everything.
everything. Look at this.
I know, and I love seeing a used book.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same as
stick
you.
figures. I've done
the shiny.
I love all this sort of stuff there. Highly recommend it.
And what did you take away from it? What was your growth
Well,
in it?
not only did that, I also did one of your courses online too. I hopped onto it's a refresh. It's sort of something there that I've always been a believer of, the mindset, but it's like anything with fitness, everything. I need a reset, like recharging, putting that plug back in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, it was just like, I need to hear that again.
Yes.
This aha moment, mindset, simple things of shifting, your mind, and
beautiful.
And things like this. There was a thing in it too, like with happiness too. I think you've got that from the Harvard professor Arthur Brooks, is like with his quote there too of like, what does happiness mean? And it's more than a feeling. Consists of the elements of enjoyment, satisfaction, and purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think those things they're in it to me. It was so good.
Yeah.
Because a purpose is, I think everyone needs a purpose, and it doesn't matter whether the purpose is just going down and something in your garden or something that fulfills you.
Essential.
Yeah.
And
Wake
it's
up
great.
to it.
Yeah.
And it's getting those balances in place.
to it.
And we all sometimes are shifting, you're great in this area, but that area is not good.
Yeah.
So it's a really thing
It
there.
gives you a freedom to move.
Yeah,
in
so
it.
it's one that I sort of think there, it's I've got a few, quite a few different sort of like books in this sort of arena, and it's a really great one, and sort of like
Well
wake
done.
up,
Yeah.
and it's.
So tell me, you both set up a business
happened?
together besides the book. Tell us about the business you've set up.
Well, so the book came a long time after the business.
Right. So tell us about the business.
What was so interesting about us building the business is we wanted to create a legacy for Layne, and we wanted to help people stuck in the mud like me.
I love it.
Because when you're broken and you're lost, like, it's not easy to go and find a therapist that you gel with. Like, you have to move around a few, and you've got to face your stuff, and
it's true.
Sometimes you're just not ready. You need like a bit of an entry level, or you've got a therapist and you need something to support you with. And Layne and I spent hours on the floor talking about, like, I was going through every modality possible, what worked, what didn't work. Like, I was in a lot of different therapy sessions to unpack the trauma. Because it wasn't just a ski accident that broke me. It was years of self-sabotage.
It made it come to the surface.
That's right.
Yeah.
And So we started putting this together, and then we started laying it out as a course, and we thought we'll digitize all of our life lessons. Now, Layne has worked with some of the world's best of the best, and she is the world's best of the best. So a lot of her tools are things that if you implemented, you will overcome any sort of mindset limitation and turn your I can't to I can very quickly, but it's not that easy. So the unpack is how, and I think books are really good at showing us what, but the how is what people miss, the doing, the actual work.
Unpack that a little bit more for us.
Well, we all understand things in theory, right? You read a book, oh yeah, I get that concept. But then when you actually sit down and put it into your own perspective and your own lens, and you start to write it out, feel it, process it, and look through it as the lens of I'm growing through this, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, you start to lose and rewrite the story. The colour changes in your eyes. You start to see things that are happier, healthier. You start to make better decisions, and you start to create better relationships around you. That is the how. That is when you start doing the work and you start realising that the only person that is responsible for your life is you.
Yeah, bravo. Bravo.
And
because a lot of people blame, don't they?
They do.
They're over
It's so
here.
true,
They're over
They
here.
won't take it, or
Oh,
if this
no.
happened, or
Yeah.
if my husband did this, or something there, or whatever.
woe is me.
But ultimately, whatever happens in life, it happens that way. But it's, your precious life, everyone's precious life, and it has to always come.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not always easy from within. And that's why I
Absolutely.
think what you're doing is those tools for life.
Tools for life.
And you need to sort of like step in and zap in throughout life.
Yeah, and you're not taught it at school. You're not taught it at uni.
No.
You go and work in these office environments, and it becomes about productivity,
what
not
a pair.
humanness.
And what a pair.
Yes. So we created the course. We sold one. It was a total failure.
Was this online?
Yeah, online.
Yeah.
And
Was that your mum that bought the course?
I actually love your honesty here.
Yeah.
A lot of people glide over that, gloss
No, it was
over it. Oh, it's perfect.
honestly, it was fucked.
This is healthy.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it.
Yeah.
We just thought, what have we done?
How many
Like-
businesses seriously fail?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
the most,
Well,
like
your
really.
greatest
Multiple
learning
times.
is done from failing, they say. Yeah.
And I love the pivot word of 2020, but we pivoted and we made what we realised is people want an accountability partner. They want the friendship. They want someone who's over the back fence.
Yes.
They wanted us two that is lying on the floor crying with each other. So that's what we did.
Because it's real. It's
Yeah,
authentic.
It's true.
it's real.
And that,
Yeah.
you know what, just saying
Yeah.
that too, and for all our listeners, we always sort of know with so much in life too, it's the power of connection and friendship, and even if it's just that one person or two, how important that is in your life.
Yeah.
And so, everyone goes through hard times at different, some more challenging than others, but if there's that one person that you can really lean on, and vice versa,
Yes.
gee, that helps.
It's the greatest gift of life,
Yeah.
and you get to choose that person.
So they wanted to see
They
you
wanted
two
us.
for who
Yeah,
and what you were.
That's right. So
tell us.
we started doing online courses. So we
Yeah.
took people through Own Your Truth, our flagship
Yes.
course.
And COVID's
Yeah.
a perfect time for
Perfect
that, isn't
time.
it?
Very
Bingo.
fortunate.
Yeah.
Instant audience.
Yeah, and we started running these workshops, and
Wow,
brands
smart,
and businesses started listening and saying, we know that AI is coming. We know that people are worried about connection. Like, people are very lonely, and that's what I love about you ladies is like you tackle loneliness by connection. They're burnt out, trying to do more. So they need sustained performance and well-being. Like, it's not just about performing, it's about whole of being care. And what people really wanted more than anything was a little bit of growth within themselves, because businesses know that when you invest in people, you get that back 10 times in productivity, in revenue, in sales, in fewer sick days. So our corporate business really took off. And we worked with Coles, KPMG, Colonial First State, Officeworks. Like, we just started building momentum. And then
And
we
were
thought,
you loving it? The two
loving
of you
it.
doing
It's
also
just
doing
such
something
joy.
that you
I'm
love.
loving hearing about it, let alone
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
present
because
at one of them.
one guy was sitting there, and we do this reflection piece where we get people to do homework and talk to their parents or loved ones or someone in their life that they want to do, like, show up for better, and we get them to do this work. And this guy came back to us the next day in front of his whole office and said, I did this with my mum, and that no one had ever done it with their mum in some of our workshops. And she paused and said, firstly, I want to say to you, if your business is paying for you to talk to your mum about building a connection with me, I don't want you to ever leave that business. They really obviously do care about you. And they were working through some big stuff, and it was very healing for him, and it said it changed his life.
Is there any, positive psychology, just that terminology, it just, I say it's Nicola, but it's so exciting when I hear that term. Like, for listeners today, I mean, I know you went for a period of burnout. I know you both preach positivity and healing, but is there any sort of advice you could give the listeners today, like point form advice, not even necessarily from your own scenario, but in a general consensus after all this experience you've had, how to be happier, how to sort of wake up, how to sort of go to sleep at night, gratitude, whatever. Is there anything that stands out that you feel that are actually pearls of wisdom, good positive psychology wisdom?
Yeah, well, firstly, positive psychology it's not all good all the time, and it's not toxic. It's not washing over your pain and your stories and your limits. It's not about that. It's about building a pretty strong toolkit that you can switch your mood pretty quickly. So it's not in the essence of forgetting the hard times. That's not what positive psychology is. It's about, like, there is a really strong place in psychology to go backwards into your stories, into your deficits. Like, that is a big part of it. But what we miss in the framework of psychology, which sort of got taken out around world wars, like, you couldn't say to someone, well, what are your goals? What are your values in life? They're like, well, hang on, So positive psychology is sort of new-ish because research and money has been put into it, but it's been around for thousands of years. Buddhism, Taoism, it's a modernized wisdom and philosophy that we've now got research and data around. So I can only talk from my understanding of it in my life and what's changed the most. And I say this very gently because I realize it's not easy when you're in the mud. But what I realized is you can rewire your brain any day. Doesn't matter, New Year's Day. You can decide, we can walk out of here a completely different person if you believe in yourself, if you take care of your own well-being, but most importantly, if you understand that the world is if you understand that the world is working for you, not against you. And when you get that, you decide what your story is, and then the world will unfold in front of you. And my story was, I'm broken, I'm unfixable, and nobody's going to love me. So what went around that? A dream team of what I thought medical professionals who were supporting me but keeping me stuck. Woe is me. I'm sorry.
Great word.
You poor thing. Yes, life is awful. Everyone was in that dream team. They were keeping me alive. But I was attracting that. They weren't pushing me out of my comfort zone. They weren't hitting me in the face like Layne did. They were just keeping me stuck because they knew that was safe. But growth happens on the edge of discomfort. It happens when you face your stuff. It happens when you take responsibility of who you are and what you've done in your life and how you've shown up, and you accept yourself as you are right in this moment, and then you decide to change. And that, to me, was the most powerful moment in that, was when I decided that I could change, that I was lovable, that I deserved a life of everyone else's that I'd been looking after my whole life. And that I deserve to get up every day and live life in this new body.
I know.
Can I just say bravo to that? Because
I know you're going to kill me, but I have to hug her.
Yeah, okay, you're going to go and hug. And you know what? This is on YouTube, so you can sort of see the hug there as well. It's so beautiful. And you know what, Tess? Thank you for sharing that too, because I think a lot of people, so when they heard Di sort of saying positive psychology, people think, oh, this toxic, positivity, whatever. We always know through the growth is through the hardest times.
Yeah.
The longer that we live and we feel grateful for living, but it's always the hard times and sitting in it, going through it. You wish you weren't in it. You'd rather be
awful.
anywhere else but it. But the biggest areas of growth are through that. Whether it is through divorce, whether it's through loss of somebody. These awful times. We've lost our parents. We've lost, you go through great times, and life is also that.
And you think you're the only one, too.
You do.
Yeah.
But it's so good to sort of know that, and it's rewiring your brain, doing that. and sometimes we just need to, like I was saying, students of life, hearing those messages again and again, and that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So what you are doing really is making a difference.
exquisite.
And we love, I don't know whether you've heard of her, she's mentioned from the US, Stephanie Lefevre. You'd love her as
brilliant.
well. She's into sort of like similar
Things
sort of
have
thing
changed in
too,
my
and
life
she's
because
gone
of
through,
her. Because of me,
and
but
she
she guided
she
me.
has mantras as well, and so many, and like it's changed your life, whatever. And I like the one too when she says, how do you start your day? And she goes, I start my day big. And she said, I start, because she says, begin in gratitude.
Yeah.
And it really is,
Simple
because we can
things,
wake
but
up with a million reasons
huge.
why, but even if you switch that brain, even trying to search, because the day is going to be like this long and hard, those like little things are so good.
Yeah.
So to hear you say that.
And Stephanie also says, show me the way when you go out at night to talk to the universe.
Yes, yeah.
Most people go, I want this, get me that, I want a Ferrari, this job's not right, that person said that. If you just go out and say, show me the way.
And I've got to ask you,
happiness
Tess,
and
too, I
joy.
know, doesn't
Same
she?
woman.
Yeah,
Steph
I love
Lefevre.
that.
So definitely
She's really powerful.
Tune in, listen to that one. She
Yeah.
really is fantastic. She does
Yeah.
mantras every day.
We're going off Tess
But I
script,
do
probably.
want to say with Tess, I want to ask
We
you
always
this
do.
because bringing in Layne, because I re-listened to
Yeah.
Layne's one, and it's just so funny. She's going how
I know what
with
you're gonna
words.
say.
I know, like, and you go, how are you? I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah, we go,
that.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've got any words, but do you know what Layne says?
Fucked up, insecure, needy, and emotional. I am fine.
So you're fine, Tess?
Oh, I
Or
would
she's
love.
like
Wouldn't it be
that?
amazing if everyone had this little
Insecure,
sticker on them
needy,
to
and
say
emotional.
like,
I'm fine.
I'm processing trauma. Like
Yeah.
someone just like we'd have so much self-compassion for each
I
other.
know.
But the biggest one we look for is if someone says,
So
I'm
it's
Yeah,
like
fine.
get,
And the way
get
they
real,
say,
isn't it?
fine.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I'm just fine.
Yeah.
And good. I think
Yeah.
there was another
Yeah.
one too. Was
Good.
it
What was
general?
good?
What
Yeah,
was
I
good?
don't-
I
I
think
can't-
it was was it general
so Layne,
observation,
though.
something
Yes.
So
ordinary,
Layne.
Yeah.
downplaying or something like
Yeah.
that. But it is. But I think then also the essence is to go deeper than with the right people there. How
Yeah.
really are you?
Yes.
And that, you
and
can.
I think it's essential what you just said, the right people.
Of course.
Like if a man... Look,
yes.
having said that, we had an interview last year where she was almost suicidal, and someone saw her on the park bench and said, are you okay?
Beautiful.
They walked on with their dogs and they went, she's not. They came back.
They just sat with her.
Saved her. Total strangers.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's times when in that scenario where there was a desperate need. But, if you have close friends and family and they're going, don't ring up, are you okay? Like, you fine? What? I'm coming over and I'm bringing a tea cake, put the kettle on. Or,
the
or if you want a
action.
wine, then fine. But
Yeah.
just... step into it. Don't walk away from it. Don't be afraid,
No.
because the jewels for everyone, including yourself, by stepping into it is
And I do
gold.
want to hear some more of your awake tips sort of
Yeah.
around
Yeah,
this
okay.
too. Like
agree.
that, whether it's in, with reinvention or boundaries or
Of
just
course.
run through just sort of
So
some
I'll talk
good
through the
tips.
things that help
Yes,
me
yeah.
the most and how
Yeah.
I live my life now
I love it. Yes, yeah.
comparatively.
From you.
And this for the
Yes,
listener at
yeah.
home, please know I am a mum of a 4-year-old who doesn't sleep.
Yes.
I live in the Hunter Valley. I work in the city. My podcast is just around the corner from this one in Woolloomooloo, so it's a long drive. I have 3 stepkids. I have 2 businesses, and life is full, wonderful. And it's wonderful because there's
Wonderful.
room.
Yeah, wonderful. And tell us about meeting a husband too, because that's a goodie.
Yeah, well, so the
busy
fundamental
girl.
change I had in my life was when I understood positive psychology and wellbeing, was that you could rewire your brain at any moment you decided to be, and the story you tell yourself is the story that will be shown to you. And that is neuroscience. That is a reticular activating system, which is basically, and you would know it when you say, my life is over, guess what you're going to see? Doom and gloom. I'm going to buy a red car. What do you see? Red car.
It's true.
The brain is the most efficient machine we have. It gets rid of information and it only sees what it wants you to see. What you tell it you want it to see, it will see. So I worked that out pretty early on, and I was like, well, what would love do? What would self-love do? What would self-care do? What would compassion do? And I started going from there, and I came up with my mantra, which is I am sunshine. Because sunshine can survive all weather patterns. It kind of is, you all
that
know.
smile, sunshine.
It lights
always
up
there
the room,
behind the
but it's
clouds.
from within.
Mm-hmm,
It wasn't something like, I wasn't going to say I am vibrant and I am healthy, because I wasn't. Like, I was like looking at ways that I could slowly slip out of here and no one would notice, you know. And I started watching the sunrise every day, and that was it. If I just got out of bed every day, and rehab taught me that, because if you get in the shower by 11 a.m. every day, it's going to be a good day. So I just applied that mentality. I'm going to watch the sunrise every morning and just say, like, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm strong. I didn't believe them. I was just trying to gaslight myself into rewiring, and slowly I started believing it. I got a new dream team. I went from 15 therapists down to 2. I started really surrounding myself with people who would light me up, not shame me down.
Love
people
that.
fell
Love
away
that.
from my
Light
life.
me up, not shame me down.
Yeah.
Sing a song with that one, Joe.
And
I was at the Newport Arms. I was there with a rehab reunion with 4 guys from rehab, and I could see this guy looking at me, and he was tall, dark, and handsome, and I just forgot about him. I hadn't had a drink in over a year. I had
your first margarita, was it?
Yeah.
You would have been flying.
Yeah, and
like flying.
I called my mum at 6 p.m. I thought it was midnight and said, "You need to come and get me. I've got to get out of here." So overstimulating.
Aunt Mum's amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
We love
and
mums.
actually, when
With
my
every
story
age.
was broken, I went to a restaurant and an umbrella flew and hit me in the head, and I thought I can never go out again. I was still in a neck brace.
What?
Yeah, and then
Was another lesson you had to learn?
well, I was broken.
Jeez.
I was
So for
broken.
you to
So
just go,
broke.
How
I'll
many
show
bloody
you.
lessons do you need,
I will
Tess?
show you
Jeez.
broken.
Exactly.
But when I
How many people were there? 100?
So
No,
what,
it
Miss
hit
Sunshine,
you.
what happens with
then, do you know, 2 years later, I got married back at that venue.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what happened?
Anyways,
How divine.
so I ended up walking into my husband at this
Literally.
man under the cutlery cart, and his first words.
that old chestnut.
as you do. Right.
We've been to the Newport Arms a few
Way
times.
to
I don't
go.
think
In
I've
the
been
big-
under
haven't
the
spotted
cart.
the cutlery
Yeah.
cart.
To check that
Nicola.
one out.
You need to
Well,
stand under
Just show me
there.
where it is.
Stand under it. I remember
Look
that.
what I can find there.
It's pretty high.
You need
Yeah.
any sauce?
You know.
Yeah. And he said to me, "Who are you? You're like sunshine."
Stop.
Look at this one.
Hey,
Yeah. First words.
But
Yeah.
I just got this whole thing through my body there.
I know.
That is
And I
powerful.
had that.
I'm talking powerful. I've used that word a lot in this interview.
Yeah.
I find that has blown my mind.
I had that, and he had that, and I
Oh my
just
God,
stood
why
there.
am I emotional about that?
Well,
that is
yeah.
so. See, you're projecting it, right?
And-
because you believed it, you
Yeah.
projected it, and look what stepped into your world.
And part of it was like he
It's like never give up that hope. What you
Never
sometimes
give
in
up
life,
hope.
isn't it? So this is what I think the thread of
Love
this
this.
message. We're having you here too, Tess, as well. You know, despite all things.
change your
Yeah.
brain, change your world.
See, change your brain, change
Great
your world.
number plate.
I guess it's like change your mindset and change your self-belief and then change your world.
Wow.
Because it's not just change your brain. Like, we're not iPhones. We can't plug ourselves in and
Yes.
just get an upgrade. It takes
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Do the book.
So
all
that
the
look,
books.
so just
Yeah.
like that, we've got time
Yeah.
against us, but you know,
Yeah, we
so,
have
so
always.
so just
Yeah.
so you end up marrying.
End up
this
marrying
beautiful
him.
man.
Yeah, I was
and-
told I couldn't have a baby naturally. I delivered Benji a year later.
Oh.
We were pregnant at our
So
wedding.
against all odds, you went, well, I'm having a baby.
Yeah, but I got a
Yes.
medical team that believed the story. I actively
Good.
sorted
You
out
had support.
real support of people. So when you own your story
You
and who
see?
you want to be, you surround yourself with people who believe in you and you believe in yourself.
Wow,
How
they're great life
fabulous.
tips. Well,
They're
any
so
more
good.
life tips?
Just
Yeah, so
fabulous.
I
before we
would
go on
say
to
is
Yeah.
wake
Just
up with a
finally,
mantra
yeah.
of who you want to be. And I always say to myself, hand on heart, when I wake up, and sometimes it's to a screaming kid saying, "Wake up, mum," I just say, "Show me how good it can get today, universe," because I'm programming my mind to look for the good.
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
That's a really
That's
a really
good.
Yeah, and
That's
every
beautiful.
moment when I clean my teeth,
Simple, easy.
I've got a mirror sticker there to say, "You are enough."
Wow.
And I'm clear. Everything that I try and do now, I do it with an intention of self-love. When instead of having a coffee first thing, I'm having water with Celtic sea salt. So I hydrate my body. So it's
Then you
just-
have a coffee?
Then I have 2 coffees. Yeah. Then
love
I'm moving my body, and then I always try.
I'm not going to have one coffee now. I'm going to have one of these
wake up tablets.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to have that.
Yeah, the
Mm.
best advice that I can give to people is like burnout happens when we go from peak to peak to peak to peak and we never give ourselves time to switch off throughout the day. We're not meant to stare at a screen or handle big issues all day. So we've implemented sunshine breaks. And they sound like, oh, come on, Tess. Like,
Yeah, some people will be
Sun-
going, yeah, sure.
yeah, that when you understand the science of it, it closes you down, you go within, it resets your whole body. You're getting some vitamin D, which strengthens your immunity, your bone density. It gives.
Is that sunglasses off, as in your eyes
Yeah,
too?
just close your eyes.
Oh, so closing your eyes.
Close your eyes,
sitting
have a glass of water, and
in the
just
sun.
say to yourself, what do I need to know right now? What do I need for my body?
And if it's snowing or raining,
Get outside.
Well, I
okay,
like how
irrelevant. Just
you
get out in
wake
the
up
fresh
with
air.
Get out, fresh air.
Love it.
Thank you and gratitude.
Yeah.
Power of the
Another one.
pause, we say a lot.
What did she say also? Thank you, more please, I'm ready. You know,
Yeah.
like that was a really great one too with,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Steph.
Steph.
Well,
yeah.
there's
We're a bit
fantas-
obsessed with
there's
Steph.
fantastic tools.
Yeah,
you know.
I love this interview. It's a beautiful.
And what
good
can our
news
listeners
story.
do? Can they? You're still doing the online courses?
Yeah, so Layne and I did a in-person course, and Penguin was sitting there, and they signed us straight away.
Brilliant.
So that's the book.
Wow.
But what we realised in the process is people want accountability partners.
Yes.
So we've got this online collective now called the Awake Collective, which is a group of over 200 people, men and women, all wanting to do the work together, all wanting to sit with Layne and I to go through the work. And we have
Love it.
coaching every month. We've got a 7 Doctors Challenge at the moment. So I've
Oh,
got
I love the
200
7
people.
Doctors
This one love this.
challenge.
I know,
Yeah, 7
yes,
doctors.
yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
200 people right now drinking 2 litres of water a day.
Good.
And when you talk about purpose, I'm like, how lucky am I? And it sounds so simple, 200 people drinking 2 litres of water, but these people don't believe that they're worthy enough to drink the water, to take
There's simple
breaks.
reminders for everyone.
Yeah.
Like we had David the
I hear
medium
you.
on, you know, so I think, and he was also saying some things are still so simple, of getting enough sleep, having the water, getting the sunshine,
Yeah.
going a
Sunshine,
little bit of
water,
exercise,
Laughter,
sleep, nutrition,
active rest.
Laughter was my
Stop.
favourite.
Friendship
because we
is
talk
number
about
one
fun.
too.
Yeah.
My life, FUN, is
If you
it's
double
it's
in,
become our
yeah.
over the back fence mantra.
and the
Yeah.
older
if you
we
don't
get,
have fun,
the more fun
then
we're
get
going to
out
have.
there and find
Yes.
it.
And
Yeah.
what an incredible
Create it.
Yeah,
meaning.
correct.
Create it.
Yeah.
Our mindset doesn't stop. Well, look,
Go on,
so
yeah.
this is just
I
so
could
good.
go on for hours
We want to
about
ask
fun.
you our signature question.
Yeah.
Do you want to shoot, Diane?
Can
Why
I
not?
say one
Yes.
more thing
Oh,
before
yes,
we
you
go
can.
there? Is
Why not?
a lot part of happiness and positive psychology, or just
Yes.
living a life that is more meaningful. And you touched on it earlier. People say, well, I'm not you. I'm not going to own a podcast, or I'm not doing no, but you're hosting family dinner every Sunday night, which gives people connection, which brings people in to have more fun. That is the biggest purpose of life.
Yeah, it was beautiful to say that.
And that, like, don't look for meaning outside of you. Look for it for what you can do and what you can offer the world. It doesn't have to be grand. And that is true happiness. Connection with yourself, because you can connect with others. And that's my gift.
Oh. Woo.
Bam.
Thank you
Love
for
it.
thank you for
Love
saying
it.
that. That was absolutely
beautiful.
Yeah.
So such a beautiful way
I
to
mean,
round
I can't
that.
wait to listen back to
that's-
this
I know,
podcast.
and it is a great one. So share
This is going to
this
be
with
on one
friends.
of my beautiful walls.
This is what we are all about too
Yeah.
with the back fence is, you know, with the mindset community
Yeah.
and hearing
Everything.
these messages, the ups and downs of life. And you certainly are, we want inspiration, and you certainly are the queen of inspiration, that's for sure.
So,
highly recommend.
Over
So-
the back fence.
Yeah, you should.
If you had the opportunity of meeting someone over the back fence, who would that be and why?
When you sent through this question to me, I instantly, the only person I would want back at my back fence right now is my grandma.
Oh, how beautiful. Now, maternal. Oh, how beautiful.
Oh, what's
so
her
you're really
name?
close to Grandma.
Granny,
Yeah.
yeah.
Granny.
Well, she's behind you. Say hi.
Granny.
They're always
she's
around us.
you.
Yeah.
All of spirit and souls are around
And
us.
I would
with you.
just,
She's
all I want to do
watching out for you.
is give her a hug.
Okay.
Oh, is that weird? I gave her a hug.
I know.
I've never done that on a
You
podcast.
could call you Granny.
Ever.
She's not to be called Granny. She's
Maybe
clever.
Granny came
Yeah,
through
maybe.
to do that.
Maybe.
There you go.
And I wanted her to hold my son Benji, and I
Oh.
just want to
Well,
hold.
she's there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
just,
so beautiful.
I really want to say to her
Well, you're saying it now.
Yeah.
that I did it.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Oh. Well, you sure
And I- yeah.
did it.
You bloody well did.
absolutely did. No, I think I'm going to have to
Against
go
all
and give
And
you
I'm
a
not
hug
there.
now.
I'm not
Oh, no.
finished yet.
This is the podcast of hugs. I know, she did it.
Tess, just
Oh,
so beautiful.
far
And,
out.
after having Dave at the meeting, we all can tap in. And I've got goosebumps.
I know.
Just around. You have done it, and we're thrilled that you've come
I'm
on our
not finished.
podcast. Yeah.
I'm not finished yet either, and I'm by no means the perfect human. I fuck up all the time, but I
You're
have a
human.
toolkit that sits behind me now, which I
Oh.
never had, and that is the gift of Pain to Purpose and Awake Academy.
Well, your grandma's behind you
Yeah, she
smiling.
is. I
Certainly
feel
very
is.
proud.
Well, thank you,
Next
everyone.
question,
Yeah,
Nicola.
well, I was
Oh,
just going to say.
Yeah, last one.
Well, I think this,
Yeah.
is, which I kind of love because you
Yeah.
tapped on it before. But what makes you happy?
Knowing that every day I'm trying to do my best with what I've got going on in my life. And that's the best in pain, in joy, in beauty. I still have really hard days.
Yes.
And I'm still just showing up as my best self in that day. And
Yeah.
and that's what I'm striving for, is day by day doing my best.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
helping others along the way.
I hope you love her as much as we do,
Got the
guys.
tissues, we've got the
because
laughter.
I'm a little bit. I was consumed by her when I heard her speak. Was it last week?
Yeah, there were a couple of
week
weeks ago. Yeah.
And I'm just equally
Yeah.
today. And thank you for coming on the
thank you.
podcast.
Yeah,
And to
thanks,
all the
Louise.
listeners who've graced
Yeah.
us with your time and energy, just
Yeah.
know you're not alone in this. Like, I only did a positive psych course because Layne had some world titles, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be true that I knew what I was talking about when I talk to people about well-being.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's not that easy.
No, I've heard that too, but you know what? You certainly are inspiring for our listeners.
Oh.
I'd
Yeah.
like our listeners to write in or DM us or whatever.
Yes.
Let us know, your thoughts or what else you want to hear, because and how Tess has moved you.
Yes.
because she certainly moved us.
Absolutely.
And
We've never hugged anyone.
And so
I could
don't
have hugged
forget-
millions of
and,
people, let me
so
tell you.
don't forget to subscribe. We
had
are
the
on
odd hot
we are
phone.
on
No, I'm
YouTube, so you
joking.
can watch it. You can watch the hugs. But also, and we really appreciate all your support. It's a great year. We're growing so much, and so
So
a lot of
much on this
gratitude
year.
there. So don't forget to rate and review. Now, I don't know, Tess, if you've heard some of our potties, but Di likes to do her own ratings. They're out of 5 normally. We like the 5 stars, but Di has her own system. I don't know, but we've got someone
wasn't
like
there,
Tess here. How many stars do you give
What was
Tess?
the one Layne that designed something for the stars? What was that
Aim
called?
for the stars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's it.
Yeah.
Not shoot for the stars. Aim for the stars
Yeah.
is infinity.
Oh, well,
I
you can
never-
infinity stars.
So that's your rating
Aim
out
for
of
the
5.
stars. So I got a 5 and
Yes,
some
yeah.
stars.
Yeah. And you've got
It's
unlimited.
infinity.
Oh,
Well, there you
great.
go.
There you
We've
go.
got-
No one will ever be able to tell
You
you how
actually
many
rate
stars.
these while the person's still in the room.
Yeah. Everyone, thank you for listening. We'll be back in your
Did you
ears
love it?
next week.
Love you all. Ciao,
Bye,
ciao.
guys.
Mwah.
Thank
Bless.
you. Look after yourselves.